especially loud during this video, so I apologize in advance for any external noise distractions during this. Also, I am highly aware that I am severely sunburnt right now. You don't have to let me know. I currently don't own any vegan organic sunscreens, and if any of you guys have recommendations, please let me know so I don't look like a reincarnated Rudolph 24/7. That would be incredible. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me right now and listening and just being exactly as you are. There is no coincidence that you're here right now listening to these words. Part of yourself wants to hear them. That is why I am communicating them to you right now, because there is no separation between you and any other creature upon this earth. I am your reflection, just vibrating at a different frequency than the one your awareness is currently occupying. It is not my purpose to be liked. This video may piss you off, it may make you happy, it may make you feel inspired, but the response is not my responsibility. My only purpose is to heal, to be a living reflection of love in its purest form, so that I can further reawaken the divinity in every human being and every creature upon this earth. Because every aspect of your external reality is self-created. You are not a victim to your circumstances. You are not your past failures and past mistakes or future expectations. You are limitless and infinite, existing only in this present moment, here and now. You can recreate yourself at any moment, whenever you choose to. You just have to let go and surrender. It is my purpose to raise the frequency of this planet into a fifth dimensional state of consciousness in which every single being is being governed and driven by love over fear, so that we can create a new earth that is full of love and delicious food and kindness and compassion here and now. And it's already happening. I know that I have felt the shift, and I know many of you probably are feeling the shift right now. Your sensitivity has probably been more heightened than it usually is. You may feel the need to distance yourself from people who drain and deplete your energy. You may find yourself consuming foods that are raw and alive and close to this earth, and stepping away from distractions which are numbing your inner source of power, like TV shows and music and all of these things that are carving and sculpting your energy, because that is what we are. We are literally pure energy, just currently taking a quick little adventure through these physical bodies. Like, this is not me. This is not who I am. I am not Claire. That is just a label that was given to me. I'm not Planable Soul. That was a label I created for myself. Like, I am you and you are me. And this may not make sense to all of you, but soon this information will make sense to pretty much this world as a whole, because things are moving and shifting very, very, very rapidly at this point. It has been a while since I have been here on YouTube on this platform, and I'm going to just dive into all of this in this video here and now. And it may be a little bit messy and all over the place, so maybe download this video and listen to it on a walk so you don't have to put up with my sunburned complexion, or maybe you enjoy it and you love the tomato look, and thank you if you do. I appreciate that. I want to talk about so much and share so much, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So I'm not sure how long this video will be, but I just kind of wanted to discuss a little bit of this past year and my reason for being away and why I'm returning now with this message, and just expose my wounds and what I've been through, and just let you know that you are not alone, because we only feel alone when we are ashamed of our humanity and when we try to hold up this facade of perfection and of having everything figured out, because no one has anything figured out. Like, I feel like the more I realize, the more my ignorance expands as I see how much I still have to learn and how much I still have to grow within myself on this journey. Social media is something that is very much a love-hate platform for me. I love you, who is watching this right now, which is pretty much like saying I love myself, because you are an extension of myself. But I love you, I love myself, I love everyone. But I don't love what comes with social media, which is what I got sucked into for a little while, which was the external validation based upon numbers and likes and competition, all this bullshit that just is not aligned in truth. But I've also realized that your perception creates everything. And for a while, I perceived social media as this toxic, like, negative thing because of the relationship that I previously had with it. Because for a while, I was using social media as a distraction. It was an immediate escape from emotions which surfaced in my current reality. And I could just open up my phone and not pay attention to what was going on inside of me. And I see this reflected through a lot of people around my age, in my current life even. Like, I'll be at a dinner with friends and someone will just open up their phone, like, during dinner while I'm having a conversation with them, and just start, like, scrolling through Instagram or, like, doing something on their phone. And I'm just like, what? But I know I'm only able to recognize that because that was something that I was doing for a long time. And I realized that for a while on this platform, I was speaking a lot of truth, but I wasn't truly living and embodying that truth. And I could only truly internalize that truth through stepping away from social media and pouring my energy inwards rather than pouring it outwards. In our world, people have been obsessed with doing for so long, and doing this and doing that and doing this, and like going until they're just depleted and empty inside. And the future is an illusion, and time is an illusion, and all that's real is what's here happening right now. Like, your life has and always will consist of this present moment. So all these people that are always doing things and going from place to place and just like constantly outpouring their energy, they aren't really going anywhere. They aren't really doing anything. And I have fallen so deeply in love with just being and just like being still within myself that sometimes it's difficult to like do and outpour my energy. But that is also due to the fact that my energy was being poured into something else for a long time, which I'll get into in this video too. And I've gotten the message so strong and clear that I have to bring this message to you guys now, and that I have to embody my evolution through this reawakened surge of creativity and through self-expression and through sharing my inner truth, which may give you the strength to embody and share and live your own. Being alone is something that is so important. It was something that I didn't recognize the power of until I came to Kauai and I didn't know anyone, and I was completely just with myself for the first time in my life, pretty much. And all of these masks and all of these layers just started peeling away off my being, and I realized that who I was for so long was just this character that I had been acting and been pretending to be, and this ego that had been given to me by others. Because when you're alone with yourself, you aren't trying to be anything for others, and so your ego just literally like falls away. It goes away, and it's still going away. Like, I still have an ego, very very strong. It's still very much there, but it's definitely weakened its power over me over the course of the last year. And through being alone and just with myself, I started to shed all of these wounds and emotional traumas that I had been carrying with me since childhood and through my ancestors, through my family. And something that I want to talk about is we're conditioned to see our desires and our intuitive urges as something that is inherently selfish. But the truth is that self-love and nurturing your inner world and taking care of yourself is single-handedly the most powerful form of medicine for our earth at this time, because everything that surrounds you is an extension of yourself. And through loving yourself and taking care of yourself, gradually that love will grow and extend outward into your entire external reality. And that is every single one of our purpose upon this earth. And some people, it may take them many lifetimes to get to this place within themselves, but our purpose is to birth a new earth and ascend into a fifth dimensional frequency in which we are vibrating at a level of pure love and being driven by compassion over fear in every moment. And our society has become so heavily reliant upon using what is external as a way to validate our sense of worth and what is internal. And you see this reflected through people who chase after fame or money, or people who become addicted to relationships and feed off of that. But you will be continually returned to your separation over and over and over until you unearth the universal wholeness which composes every essence of your being, which is why you're experiencing everything you have to in every single moment. I have chosen to suffer because suffering is a catalyst for growth, and the purpose of your soul is to grow and evolve, to ascend into these higher dimensions and higher frequencies. And through choosing to grow and through choosing to suffer, I fell in love with someone back in like September. I fell in love with myself through someone else. And I can go further into this maybe at some point, but essentially I lost myself in myself because this person is a reflection of myself, but I poured so much of my energy into this relationship that I abandoned my own energy and what made me happy. And for nearly 6 months, I was just trying to heal and trying to help this person and giving them so much of me. And that wasn't their fault. It was all something that I chose to do consciously. Like, we are not enslaved to our circumstances. We are not a victim. We choose everything on a deep level. We chose our parents, we chose our suffering, we chose our growth, we choose everything that happens to us. And this person told me in the time that we were together that he loved me for who I was, not what he received from me. And over time, I lost touch with who I was through what it was that we shared, and the universe pulled us apart in an incredibly painful way. And through that pain, I shed such a huge part of my ego that I had placed in what I was receiving from this other person. I thought that my self-worth was determined by the amount of love I was receiving from them. but that love I was receiving from them was in direct correlation to the love that I had opened up within myself. And after a while, when I like gave all of my love to them and stopped taking care of myself, everything just started falling apart. I started to reverse back into self-sabotaging behavior. I started binge eating again. I stopped working out. I stopped self-expressing. I stopped creating, which is a huge part of why like I haven't been posting on YouTube, because I was literally channeling all of my energy into this other being. And that pain of heartbreak is something that I did not know I could even experience, like that amount of suffering in this human body. I literally felt like I was dying. I did die. Like part of me did die. I literally was just like screaming and crying in the shower, and I felt so empty. Like after a few days of just crying my fucking eyes out, I got to the point of being so empty and numb I couldn't even cry, and I thought everything was an illusion. Like this is the one person that I thought would never hurt me, and they hurt me deeper than anyone in my entire life and knew me deeper than anyone in my entire life. And like the pain of that, if you've experienced it, you know. But that pain shattered me on such a deep level and opened up this vault inside of me on such a deep level that allowed me to reach this depth of inner power and strength on a level that I would not have been able to otherwise. I would not be sitting here making this video if it had not been for this. And like this person is watching this video right now, which they might be, I love you. And I have learned that the purest form of unconditional love is knowing when to let go of someone, because relationships are catalysts for growth. We aren't meant to become attached to people, because then we are stuck in a cycle of feeding off of the love that they're giving us. Like, you're meant to receive and take the lessons that you learn from someone and grow through them. But so many people become so severely attached to others and believe that that is love. Like, no, love is not attachment. Love is loving someone for what best serves them in each moment, and sometimes that isn't being together. And like, I honestly don't know if I could even like date someone again or be with someone again like for the rest of my life, because I literally know that I don't need anything but love from myself, for myself. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll find someone and maybe we will be vibrating at a similar frequency and our paths will cross, and I'll learn more through them, and then like I will like realize something more about love, and maybe that will work. Everything I'm speaking about and everything I'm saying right now is just currently my beliefs at this, like, not even my beliefs, just where I'm at this current state of awareness, like, which will shift and evolve and change in time. When people solidify their beliefs and they're like, I believe this and this is the box that I'm in, it separates them from others and it cuts them off from growth and evolution. Like, my beliefs are constantly shifting and changing as I grow and shift and change and evolve. But I became like so lost in this other person that I became so trapped and stuck within myself, and I began to think that it was something that was wrong with my external reality. And I was like, I feel stuck in Hawaii, and I was like, I have to leave, like I have to leave, I have to go and travel, like this place is just keeping me stuck. And I left and went traveling for 2 months about, and I went to New Zealand, and I went to Bali, and I went to Australia for like 2 days because I missed my flight, and hung out with my friend Bonnie. Bonnie, if you're watching this, I love you so much. My friend Bonnie just made an amazing video talking about something that's super vulnerable and raw and beautiful, so I'll link her channel below. You guys should definitely check her out. But yeah, I was in Australia for like 2 days and like went adventuring with Bonnie, and we like got distracted in these crystal rock pools, and I missed my flight, which was actually like so meant to be, as everything is. Yeah, but I went traveling for a while, and before I left, I just ended everything. I gave away everything, because as you guys will come to learn and know about me, I'm an extremely imbalanced, all or nothing person. And the whole time I was in Hawaii, I was like, this is it. Like, I'm here, I'm living here forever, I'm never leaving. And then when I decided that I was stuck and I had to leave, I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I feel stuck here. And I'm learning to gradually like find balance in my life with things like this. But I sold my car, gave away pretty much everything I owned, ended my lease, like left with a backpack, and just set off, and had some really beautiful, beautiful adventures traveling. And yeah, I'm sure I'll talk about all of this at some point. I don't want this video to be too crazy long, but I have my 20th birthday. I'm 20 now. So I'm officially an adult, which age is literally nothing. I feel like I'm 8 years old and 200 at the same time. So age is irrelevant, but this body is 20 at this time. I had my birthday on March 7th in New Zealand, and then went to Bali, and the whole time I honestly didn't feel that good. Like, I just felt like I couldn't escape myself, because wherever you go, it's like, there you are. You can't get away from yourself. You can't get away from the internal issues and wounds that you're running from. Towards the end of March, I got such an incredibly powerful pull to come back to Kauai out of nowhere, and I literally just broke down in tears, and I was crying, and I felt just this wave of homesickness wash over me, because even though I wasn't born here, I feel like this is my home. Like, I've never experienced such a deep sense of belonging and connection to any place else my whole life. I feel like Kauai was like this womb that just took me into her arms and held me through so much, and was there for me through all of these shifts and transitions. And like, I've learned so much through her and through being here, and I feel like she's my mom. Like, I feel like Hawaii is my mom, and I was like, I miss my mom, like, I have to go back. So I booked a flight back and came back to Hawaii, and I was staying at my friend Amelia and Shannon's house for a little while, and you'll meet them, I'm sure, in later vlogs, because I'm gonna start vlogging and doing all of those YouTube things soon, because it has been too long. But I came back, and it was just raining, like literally the hardest rain that I've ever seen, just like pouring and pouring and pouring for days. And one day I got a bike. I borrowed a bike, and I like went out biking, and it was just pouring rain. I was biking through the rain, and I just felt like I was like waking up again for the first time. I felt like I had been in this like sleep dream state for the last like 7 months of my life, and I finally felt like I was waking up, and I was just like, mud was splattering all over me, and I was biking, and like all these tourists were just driving in their cars and were so pissed off that it was raining because they couldn't hike the Nepali, and like they were just so bummed out, and I was just like, life is amazing. And I just realized that like our addiction to comfort and our obsession for control and like controlling all of, I just played, there's like a little spider right here. It's super, super beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my hand just went in and sweat, and I was like, I'm sorry. But as humans, like our addiction for control and just being comfortable numbs us off from the beauty of being alive, because like people don't want to feel the depth of grief and pain. And like when I had my heart fucking like ripped out of my chest and crumbled into a million pieces, and I was crying, I was like releasing so many other wounds that had been stored up within me, and I had never felt so human and so just alive. And I was like, oh, like I love crying. Every time I cry, I'm like so happy to be crying, because my emotions were something that I was numb to for so long, and now that I'm able to like slightly more embody my emotions every time I do, it's like such a big release, and I just love it. But people don't like feeling things, like people don't like experiencing things. Like there's this icy cold river close to my house, and I jump in it almost every single day, and it's like cold, like the water is freezing cold, but it just wakes you up, and you feel like your cells are just like covered in electricity, and you feel so alive. And like most people wouldn't want to swim in it because it's too cold, but it's like we're so addicted to controlling everything and being comfortable that we aren't appreciating the beauty of this life anymore. But yeah, I was just biking, and like I was so stoked, and then I saw the ocean, and I hadn't swum in the ocean since I had been back home, and I didn't even have a bikini on, but I just like stripped down and like was swimming in it naked. I was so stoked and happy. And then like a few days later, on one night, it rained like so much. I've never experienced rain that intense and that hard. It was literally like Mother Earth was crying, and it was just like pouring on the roof. And I woke up the next day and everything had changed. Our water was out, like we didn't have any running water. I walked down the street and there were just landslides like everywhere, and roads had just been crumbled into pieces, and there were waterfalls gushing where like driveways used to be, and houses were gone. And like I just realized that our Mother Earth is hurting so deeply. Like, as humans, we don't realize, because we've become so addicted to labeling everything and like seeing everything through the lens of society and not through our own inner lens, but we don't realize how beautiful this earth and this world truly is. Like, this is one of the most beautiful planets in the whole universe, and your soul has chosen to come and incarnate here and be here now. Like, do you realize what a sacred, beautiful gift that is? And we have just been using and abusing her for so long, and I feel as though this flood and everything that happened here in Kauai was just such a wake-up call to return back to love and return back to the earth and truth. Because like, people don't ask Mother Earth for permission before like digging roads into her and carving roads into her. And like, I'm part of all of this. Like, I have driven a car. I currently don't have one, but like, I've driven a car. I've contributed to all of this, and I'm trying to live in the most conscious way possible. But I know that like, for a lot of my life, I was consuming a lot of animal products, not knowing the effect that I was having on the environment, not knowing that energy never dies, it's only recycled. So I was literally consuming the fear and the negative karma of these animals that were being slaughtered and killed for their lives to be packaged into products and sold to people under the illusion that they need protein and that it's good for them and benefiting them, their health. Like, I was literally consuming the breast milk of another animal for the majority of my life without realizing it. Like, I had been living unconsciously for so long, and that's why like, I'm so passionate about this, because we all need to just wake up and return to love and remember who we are. Our entire society is under this veil of amnesia and this veil of forgetting. It's not like you have to reconnect to source energy. You have to remember who you are and remember where you came from, and remember that you are a divine being and you were placed here with a purpose, which is to become your highest self and elevate yourself through nurturing your inner world and through self-love, so that we can coexist in harmony with every creature on this earth and with Mother Earth herself. And I just watched, like, through this flood, our addiction and reliance upon external forms of power, that couldn't have helped anything in this situation. Like, everyone just had to come together and be like, okay, how can we help each other? How can I extend love to you? Like, people were getting out of their homes and like remembering how to love and like donating food and like serving at the soup kitchen, and everyone just came out of these boxes of separation. And I am so fucking grateful that I was here for this and that this island called me back for this, because I know that like, this is where I need to be right now, and I know that this is my home, and I know that I will travel, I'm sure, at other times to other places to speak this message. I will be sharing this message that I'm sharing here now soon all over the world to groups of people. But right now, this is where I need to be, and this is the platform that I'm using to share this message. So thank you guys all for listening and for being here. And just returning to love time and time again, even when it's difficult. Like, it's hard to remain soft and to surrender to your deeply emotional nature in a society that is numb. But you were not placed here to break yourself to fit in to a society that is broken. You were placed here to remember your truth and embody that truth to further lift others into their own truth and just love. Like, that is literally what we are, is pure unconditional love. I remember I spent so much of my life just like hating my body and hating this form and wishing that I had a different body and wishing that I looked different and wishing that my nose didn't like go up and wishing I didn't have a dimple in my chin and wishing that I had bigger boobs and like all this bullshit that was just like programmed into my head. And I remember I was on a run a few months ago, and I was running, and out of like nowhere I had this out of body experience where I was perceiving myself from the witness perspective, and I like looked at my body, and I looked at my legs, and I looked at my strength, and I was like, oh my God, like through years of literally like hating this body and like wanting to be someone else, like my heart kept me alive, like my lungs continued to inhale air, and I was in such a state of self-hatred for so long, but my body like continued to keep me alive. And if that's not the purest form of unconditional love, like if that isn't proof that you are love and I am love, like I don't know what is. I just want everyone to just love everyone and love themselves. Like literally it all starts within yourself and healing yourself, and self-love is everything. Like I truly believe that self-love like is more important than any other message, and that's just what I want to promote, and that's just what I want to embody, and it has helped heal my family. Like when I left home, my parents were at a place, they got divorced when I was 13, and my parents were at a place where they weren't even talking to each other. Like they were literally sending each other emails or using me as a mode of communication in between them, and being like, can you tell your dad that I think this, or like, can you tell your mom that I think this? And it was so exhausting to be in that state as a child. And since coming here and doing so much inner work on myself, like I feel as though I've healed my parents, because we are all connected through a universal thread of energy, but that thread is stronger with the people that you chose to share an ancestral lineage with. And so with your parents, like you can heal them so much through doing inner work on yourself. And my dad's birthday was in April, and my mom texted me and she was like, I'm baking your dad a vegan dinner for his birthday, and like we're going hiking. And I was like, what? Like my parents are literally spending time with each other now and like hanging out and connecting. And my dad was like, I love your mom more than I ever have, but it's such a different form of love. And I was like, yeah, because that's what love is. Like there isn't like you have some sort of love for some people and some love for other people. It's like you have the same amount of love for everyone, even if you're under the illusion that like, oh, I love my boyfriend more than like I love my mom, or like I love this person more than this person. It's like, then that love is under an illusion, because you're picking and choosing parts of yourself to love, and so then you're picking and choosing parts of other people to love, and it's not real. Basically this flood and like everything happened, and currently we are living literally like back in time here on the North Shore, because the road for like 2 weeks was closed completely due to landslides, like dozens of landslides. And so the only way to like get access to food and water or access back into town was by boat. So like they were boating and helicoptering in supplies for people here that were stranded, and like so many people just like left right away, which like that was something they had to do. But I know in my heart that I had to stay and like be here for this place, because this place has been here for me through so much, like so much. And so I was like, I need to stay here on North Shore. But then over time, like, so I was staying at friends' houses for about 2 weeks, and I just didn't feel good. Like I don't feel good and strong in myself when I'm depending on other people for anything. Like for me, I know that through falling in love with being alone and through like learning to love myself and all that I am, I just like genuinely love hanging out with myself and being with myself all day long. And even if like you're good friends with someone, if you're sharing a living environment with someone, you still have to embody a certain level of presence to just communicate with them and be with them. And I was like, I need to release all external forms of reliance and power within my life so I can fully step into and reclaim my power as an individual after like losing myself so deeply for months in this like other relationship. I was like, I just want to come home to myself. Like I just want to be fully in myself and empowered. And writing for me has always been such a powerful form of like self-expression and energy, you could say. And I highly recommend that if any of you guys want to start this process of just self-love and becoming aware and conscious, you start writing down things that you want to create in your reality, or just writing down things you want to become, or use visualizing, like meditative practices. I'm gonna start setting up like a bunch of meditative videos and just audio for you guys to listen to that you can like delve within yourself during. But I was like, I just need to write this down, because writing is very powerful. You can think something, but oftentimes our minds are so cluttered with so many other thoughts that it's not as clear if you don't write it. And so I wrote this down. I'm going to grab my journal real fast. I'll be right back. Okay, so I actually wrote this down in like 3 journals, because a lot of times I'll write something like multiple times if it's something I want to create. But I only have 2 with me right now because I had lost the other one. But I will find it. So this is a journal I got when I first came back to Hawaii after traveling. And guys, like, I hadn't even self-expressed through writing in so long. Like, I wasn't writing for me anymore. I felt like I was writing for Instagram, and I wasn't even journaling anymore for such a long time. Like, I just drifted so far from myself, and I literally filled this whole journal in like a day, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I wrote this on April 11th. So this is 4/11, which 14 and just 4/11 is my lucky number. Like, I see it in repeating digits all the time, and so whenever I see it, it's always a good sign. But I was like, today marks a new chapter, a turning point, a rebirth. I'm aching to entangle these thoughts. My mind is bruised with unspoken words. My screens will be no longer sheltered by the stitches that have sewn my lips together. My voice will reawaken the intuitive hunger of all living creatures upon this earth. I will serve as a channel for the collective remembrance of our inner divinity. I will carve a new earth through the womb of this world. I will write every single morning, whatever I think, whatever I feel. This will be my salvation. I am no longer paralyzed by the illusion of perfection, for this can only survive in a dualistic realm which I have transcended through recognizing my living reflection in all things. May these manifestations unfold effortlessly through sacred trust fused with divine timing, for this is not for me, this is for all. I am home. I rise at dawn. As the inhale of a lucid sun gently bathes my sanctuary in liquid gold, a little beach bungalow nestled along the northern coastline of Kauai. The taste of salt water and basil linger in the kitchen, a bright, open space scattered with sandy footprints and stories spoken over home-cooked meals. Ceiling-to-floor windows overlook my backyard garden, infused with fresh herbs and blossoming marigolds. The flower of my childhood, plants blanket every inch of my home in a sea of green. Lush vines trace their way over walls and across countertops. My home is lush, alive, and beaming. Signs of a little creature or a few are on the loose. My home is simple yet modern. It is a sacred space where all beings feel free to unfold into their purest form. And then I wrote some more manifestations about money and a lot. I want to actually make a video speaking about money, because that is something I know that a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of people probably have questions about. And yeah, I know a lot of people are going to ask how like I afford this and how I afford everything. And the truth is that I am currently only making income through my Lightroom presets. So if you have purchased them, I appreciate it so much, and I want to figure out a different form of income, which will come to me in time, because I genuinely don't like selling things, and I can't like sell things to people. It's just so difficult for me to do. And so I know that like that will come in time as everything unfolds, but that is definitely like a perception that I have been just working to shift, because like social media, I had such a negative perception of money for so long, and like was under this illusion that like, oh, you can't be spiritual and be wealthy and like be financially abundant and taken care of. And it's like, first of all, there's no such thing as being spiritual, because we are all spirits in these bodies having a spiritual experience. Like, no one is more spiritual than you. And I feel like for a long time I had like a really big spiritual ego, so I apologize for that, because looking back on other videos, I'm like, that's not me. Like, I'm sorry about that, and I know some of you guys probably recognize that. And yeah, I am just recognizing more and more as time goes on. But anyways, that was just something I wrote about the home that I want to be within, and then I wrote another one in this journal. And okay. I said, I belong to myself. My dependence upon any lingering source of external energy must be diminished entirely if I am to claim the unbridled potential that is my birthright. All reliance upon alternative thought forms and sources of energy must be severed. I am an independent being. I answer to no one but myself. I deserve to feel at home in this body. I deserve to feel at home within myself. I listen with relentless devotion to my deeply instinctual nature. Intuitive alignment is my constant state of being. Within this next month, May, I'll be living solo in a beautiful bungalow whose backyard blends into the ocean. A small home nestled along the north shore of Kauai, blanketed in ferns. A sacred sanctuary suspended in a realm between heaven and earth. I am free. I am here. I am home. Now. So I wrote that, and literally the next day, I was on Craigslist just like scrolling through, and I saw photos of this beautiful home that was just like a few blocks from where I was currently staying. I got chills like all over my entire body, and I knew that I was looking at my new home. I just like felt it so deeply within, and I feel like this is just so crazy. Like I feel like things are coming to into existence before I even like wish them into existence. And I just wrote the landlord or whoever posted the ad a huge message just talking about myself and my situation and who I was. And she called me in a few hours and she was like, you were the only person who poured any energy or like time into your message, and I appreciate that so much, and like I'd love to meet you. And I was like writing all those Instagram captions paid off in some way. Just kidding. But I was like, great, can I come over? And she was like, yeah. And I came over, and she was so warm and kind and loving, and she showed me the space, and it was just like this smaller like downstairs studio, and walked me through it and just kind of opened up and started talking to me a lot. And I actually spent like 2 hours just speaking with her about her life and her journey. And then she took me upstairs to like an upper unit, and I walked in and I was just like floored, like blown away. Like it was literally everything that I've been visualizing, like wood floors, like light, bright light everywhere. I just wanted a home that was infused in light, that would serve as like a creative sanctuary for me to deliver this message and just embody my own self-expression. And before I could even stop myself, I was like, do you ever rent out this unit? She was like, no, like this is where I live, actually. This is my home. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like I ended up going back to my friend's house, and she left me a voicemail the next morning, and I listened to it, and in it she was like, hey, so I think I'm gonna move out of the top unit, and if you want it, it's yours, because I've been wanting to downsize and like move into a smaller unit for a while. So like I just want to let you know, like if you wanted to move into my house, like you can. I was like, what? I was just like, okay. So that is where I am currently, and I fully manifested a landlord that's I don't even like the word landlord, just like a housemate that's as obsessed with cats as I am. And there is a colony of like 14 stray cats that live here that I feed every morning, and she's like, I hope you're okay with cats. I was like, I am a cat. Like I love cats. I love cats more than most humans. And during the flood, this little stray cat that was all black with white paws kept showing up in my friend Shannon's backyard. And I was outside in the backyard one morning, and this cat just like ran up to me out of the bushes and was just starving for love and like rubbing against me. And this was like before the flood, before anything. And I was like, I'm going to adopt this cat someday. Like someday this cat will be mine. And I just kind of had that thought. And then I was on a walk the other day and went into this cave that's usually full of people. Like, it's so crazy. Like, right now, this place is so quiet. Like, I can go to the beach and not see anyone. Like, there's literally no one. And kids are out riding their bikes and everyone is just living in the present moment. And it's so beautiful just to be here right now. But I was just on a walk alone. I feel like I have the life of like an elderly person. Like, I just go on long walks by myself and make tea with my cat, and it's great. I've retired at 20, but I was on this walk and I went into this cave, and on the wall of the cave someone had like carved into the wall Kaya, and I was like, I love that name. I was like, I'm gonna name the cat that name. So then flash forward to the next day, and I was on the phone. I was like, I have this cat, her name is Kaya, and like, can she live here with me? And she was like, yeah. She was like, actually every cat here, their name starts with K. She was like, I have a cat named Krishna and Kenya and Kitty. And I was like, perfect, like she will fit right in. And so I moved in, and I'll currently show you the place. Actually, it's so empty because I don't have anything, which is amazing. Like, everything that's in here right now is something that I use on a daily basis. And so I love like how open it is because I don't have a bunch of stuff. I just dream of like filling it with plants and more cats at some point. But I will just show you guys a little peek right now. So we are walking in. This is the kitchen where I'm going to be doing much more what I eat nowadays and showing you guys food. These are Kaya's little bowls. And then this is just, I guess, the living like yoga room. And I call this the cat room because this is where Kaya hangs out. And then outside, there she is. Hi, I was just talking about you. You're so beautiful. Oh, she fully owns the place now. I am her servant and obey her every wish and command. But this is the view. I got all these little plants at a greenhouse, and I got a bunch of mint. Like, I want to start like raised bed gardens up here, so if any of you guys have tips on at-home gardening, let me know. This is her favorite little contraption, the wooden box. And then this is my bedroom. And yeah, where it all began. If you remember, you know. So that is a little preview of where I'm currently living, and I'm sure you guys will see much more of it as time goes on. But before this video gets too long, I just wanted to end it by kind of touching back on something I spoke about earlier, which was like healing your family through healing yourself. And recently my parents sent me this like little care package out here with like almond butter and maca powder and just all these vegan things. And in it they included a few letters that they wrote me, and I'm probably gonna cry reading these, but I just want to read these to you guys to show you that there is hope and that people can change and grow and evolve. Like, I literally had no relationship really at all with my dad growing up, and our relationship now is stronger than it's ever been. And it's been through me choosing to love and take care of myself. So this is the card that my dad sent me, It says, "Thank you." And my dad is really passionate about wildlife photography, and he takes photos of wild animals in Colorado in their natural habitat. So he like hikes up these mountains and sets up remote trail cameras that are triggered by heat and motion and takes photos of the animals there. And this is like one of the photos that he got of a mountain lion. I will link his website below if you guys want to check out his work, because he's incredible. Okay, all the feels. Dear Claire, you might be laughing receiving a thank you card. It was intentional. Thank you for returning to the truth of who you are time and time again. Thank you for caring about people, animals, and our planet. Thank you for living life with great faith, trusting your intuition, and allowing these core attributes to change as you change. Thank you for living in the moment and encouraging others. Thank you for staying on the North Coast and helping with recovery efforts. You are like a human lighthouse for many. Thank you for expressing your love for me and your dear mom. We love you so much. Thank you for inspiring me to blossom and pursue my new venture, Wild Nature Media. I'm so excited about the way I can make a difference for wildlife and our planet. Thank you for taking care of yourself. You have inspired me so much, and I'm a happier person because you're in my life. Love, Dad. Thank you, Dad. And then my mom sent me this. So my mom painted this. Like, she's so beautiful. I love you, Mom. I know you're watching this. This is a letter from my mom. Dear Claire, I'm holding you in love. I'm feeling so much appreciation for who you are and what you're sharing and giving at this time, both physically and energetically. I think of you many times a day, and when I'm quiet, I am profoundly aware of your radiant light, not separate from me or separate from anyone. As I said before, I believe and I trust that you were guided to return to Kwai in order to hold a very clear, pure love energy and to anchor a frequency of higher consciousness during this massive purging, cleansing, and healing cycle of our Mother Earth. Your myriad of experiences on this planet for the last year have prepared you for this, like a crash course in unity consciousness that would take most humans a good part of their lives to attain. And I can safely say that it hasn't been just the past year. It's been since July when you left home to find yourself. And this has prepared you. Your whole life has prepared you for this. I imagine that you can see the perfection in the unfolding of your life, the past 20 years, and that you are keenly aware of how every experience is absolutely perfect and necessary to give you the wisdom, compassion, maturity, and understanding that you embody now. I love you and I believe in you. Love, Mom. Thank you.